stars. The woman represents Israel. The crown with 12 stars on her head forms this woman. Amen. It forms us. We are this woman. It symbolizes she's married to God. We are married to Christ. And she's about to give birth. Amen. Amen. So these 12 stars is like a zodiac sign indicating the season of birth. Amen. Amen. The 12 stars shape the image of a woman. Amen, amen. So we have zodiac signs that indicate a certain time of birth. These signs are made up of a group of stars and they shape an image. Amen. I was born in July. And there's a group of stars that form a sign of a Cancer. It forms a sign of a crab. This lets me know my season of birth. I was born in July. I was born in the 7th month of the year. Amen, amen. And it's a sign of a Cancer. It's a sign of a crab. In the month of August, there's a group of stars that form a lion, and they call it a Leo. Amen, amen. So these stars represent times and seasons and the estimated time of birth. Amen, amen. So Genesis 1:14 says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Amen, amen. So these 12 stars represents the woman, they represent the church, they represent Israel. Amen, amen. The sun represents God, it represents a father, and it represents knowledge. Amen. The moon represents the bride of God. It represents a mother, it represents wisdom. Amen, amen. The stars represents angels, it represents men, it represents children, and it represents understanding. Amen, amen. Knowledge and wisdom shall produce an understanding. It's supposed to produce an understanding. It bursts out in understanding. Amen, amen. So let's remember that Joseph had a dream also. Amen, amen. He saw the sun and the moon and he saw the stars bowing down to him. He saw 11 stars bowing down to him, and his father said, Joseph, so what are you saying, that me, your mother, and your brothers are going to bow down to you? So this is just an image of letting you know that God, his story is written in the stars and how the stars correlate with us. Amen. So the woman clothed with the sun represents how she's adorned with God's glory and how she's righteous and has divine favor, in which we do. We have divine favor and we're clothed with the majesty of God. Amen, amen. The moon under her feet symbolizes her dominion, and it symbolizes her authority. It symbolizes her victory over temporary things that are bound by time. We're in a temporary state because we're in the realm of time. Amen, amen. This is a temporary state, which we are trying to get to an everlasting state. Amen, amen. It symbolizes victory with eternal spiritual realities. It symbolizes the church's dominion over things. The moon is her footstool. Amen. Amen. The moon is her footstool as the earth is God's footstool. Amen. And Revelation 12:3 says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon